Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to episode number 926 of NoDQ&AV video. Not only are we on the road to 1,000 episodes, but also we are now officially on the direct route to Wrestlemania 33, which is less than 4 weeks away now in Orlando, Florida. Got your questions using the hashtag RoadToNoDQ1000. Again, that is the hashtag to use if you would like your question answered here on the video. Let's get started today with the first one, which comes from the Kevin Owens Show. Hey Aaron, do you think Roman Reigns and The Undertaker will have a good match, and who do you think will win? I think they will have a good match when it's all said and done. I think that the match will have a tremendous amount of heat. I think Roman Reigns is almost certainly going to get booed out of the building at WrestleMania. It will be a very entertaining match to watch, and these are two guys that know what they're doing. The Undertaker is a veteran. Roman Reigns, he's been able to perform at the high-profile level. Despite all the criticism, Roman Reigns does deliver in the ring. It should be a very fun match to watch. Now, the big question that everyone is asking, who is going to win this match? Is Roman Reigns going to defeat The Undertaker and potentially even retire The Undertaker? And will The Undertaker play the role of The Rock at the Royal Rumble 2015 and raise the hand of Roman Reigns and endorse Reigns? I could see this happening. This is my prediction right now. WrestleMania is still a month away, but my gut feeling is Roman Reigns will beat The Undertaker, not necessarily retire The Undertaker, but I think Roman Reigns will win. Undertaker will get down on a knee, or he'll do something to show respect to Roman Reigns, and it will be a symbolic passing of the torch. Roman Reigns will not turn heel, even though he will be booed out of the building. Fans will boo him winning. Fans will boo The Undertaker putting over Roman Reigns and endorsing Reigns. And WWE will just keep going forward with Roman Reigns as the big dog. And that will be his gimmick moving forward, and he will continue to be in that position. I do not see anything significant changing. That's my prediction at this point, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope Roman Reigns turns heel at WrestleMania, even though my WrestleMania stipulation for this year is if Roman Reigns does turn heel, I will dye my hair pink for a week. I think this would be a great opportunity to turn Reigns heel, but I'm not expecting it. Got this one here from Will. Do you think Roman Reigns should have been the one to beat Undertaker for the first time at WrestleMania? Imagine if The Undertaker still had the streak. As heated as Reigns and The Undertaker is going to be, it would be even more heated if the streak was on the line, and the idea that Roman Reigns could possibly end The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak. How worked up would fans be if that was the case? I think it would have been a tremendous match for WrestleMania with the streak being on the line. Roman Reigns, ideally, if the fans were more accepting of him, I think Reigns would have been a great contender, a great choice to end The Undertaker's streak. I said this years ago. My opinion for several years was that the guy that should have ended The Undertaker's streak should have been a guy that was being positioned as the next big star in WWE, the guy to carry the company. And Roman Reigns is, like it or not, the closest guy to filling that role. But unfortunately, the fans have been kicking and screaming all along the way with this Roman Reigns push. But yeah, I think that if the situation was truly ideal, Roman Reigns would have been the right guy to end The Undertaker's streak, and that be his defining moment as the next big top star in WWE. This one comes from Larby. WTF, the Hardy Boys becoming the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. What does this mean as far as a WWE return? It's interesting because there are conflicting reports out there about the Hardys that At first, there was a report they had signed a long-term deal, and then it was changed to, oh, well, it's unknown right now, and it might be a short-term deal. I'm guessing we are not going to see the Hardys at WrestleMania. If we do see the Hardys, it will probably be after WrestleMania. There's always a possibility that this Ring of Honor deal is maybe a 2-month deal. It's something fairly short-term, and maybe we will see the Hardys sometime in the summer. The thing that's really interesting that is getting people wondering is the fact that Matt Hardy continues to tease a potential match with Anderson and Gallows. Matt has tweeted out several things since the Hardys won the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships, and he continues to get the fans worked up and wondering what is going on here. Will we see the Hardys in WWE challenging Anderson and Gallows? It's hard to say. It's all a big question mark. I think Matt Hardy would do this whether it was really happening or not, just to generate the headlines. My gut feeling is we will see the Hardys back in WWE, but it will be when the time is right for the Hardys, when they feel they can get the most money and the most creative freedom and the overall best deal. I think that's when we'll see the Hardys back in WWE. And I think WWE, from a business perspective, it only makes sense to bring back the Hardys, but they're going to want it their way. They're going to want the best deal for them, and the Hardys are going to want the best deal for them. So it's just a matter of the two sides being able to come up with a deal and the timing being right. This one comes from Sam. If the Hardys were to return, could you see Matt getting a singles push instead of Jeff? I doubt it. I think WWE wants to bring back the Hardys as a duo and bring them back together as a team. I do think that there will be somewhat of a nostalgic push for the Hardys, and the Hardys did have their greatest success in WWE as a tag team. That's what fans will remember them the most for, even though Jeff did have a pretty successful run, and even Matt had a successful run as a single star. I think that the most money to be made is the Broken Hardys as a tag team in WWE and having a run with the tag team titles. I think that is what you can get the most out of from the Hardys. My gut feeling is if they come back to WWE, it will be as a tag team, similar to how the Dudleys came in, but I think the Hardys would get pushed stronger than the Dudleys. And who knows? I mean, I would never rule out the possibility of each of them having singles runs again in WWE, but I think it's more likely they come back and have one final run as a tag team, and then that'll be it. This one comes from Doom Readverb. If Jeff Hardy never left WWE and stayed clean, how big would he have been? He was their hottest babyface when he left. I have no doubt that Jeff Hardy would have continued to have been a major star in WWE. I think he would have had several years on top. He was one of the hottest stars in the company during that period, and some would say he was a bigger star than CM Punk when CM Punk was at his peak in 2011. Jeff Hardy, during that 2008-2009 period, was red hot. I mean, he was really on fire as a top babyface in WWE. I think he could have been there for several years on top and been one of the biggest stars in WWE, but for whatever reason, he got burned out. He wanted to scale it back, and with TNA, he could work the part-time schedule and get the big money, and he made a business decision, and he made a decision to just step away and just focus on doing his own outside projects, as well as being able to stay in the business and be a big star, but on a smaller scale. This one comes from Tristan Quick. Are WWE losing viewers because they don't reward those viewers who stick around all year long and they screw them over? No, that's not really the reason at all. The fans that are very loyal to WWE, the hardcore fans, they will stick around no matter what. WWE can pull this thing they do every year where they bring in the part-timers and focus WrestleMania on the Goldbergs and the Undertakers. WWE can get away with this. The loyal, hardcore fans are always going to be there. WWE is losing viewers because, if anything, the product is designed to attract hardcore fans rather than creating new casual fans. And I've said this for a long time, the biggest problem in WWE is their failure to really create new major superstars. They need that new Steve Austin or new Rock that appeals to a mainstream audience. Pushing Kevin Owens is catering to the loyal hardcore fans, pushing Sami Zayn and pushing AJ Styles for that matter. What WWE needs is that next Steve Austin or Rock, and until they have that, they'll continue to slowly lose casual viewers. I think most of the people watching WWE right now are hardcore fans. WWE really doesn't have much of that casual audience at this point. I mean, you have your people that are watching WWE that have been very loyal, but as far as people that are not that interested in wrestling, that are just casually watching WWE, those numbers are definitely dwindling, and that's because of the fact that WWE hasn't created a new big superstar. This one comes from Ali. Should WWE cut down on pay-per-views so they can invest more time in storylines and build-ups? No, I actually think that would be a bad idea, because if WWE only had a pay-per-view every 3 or 4 months, then the Raws and SmackDowns would just contain even more filler. WWE would just drag things out even longer. The thing about a monthly pay-per-view is there's always something to build towards, and you're always starting up new storylines, and the shows are moving along at a faster pace when you have to come up with new storylines every month and new feuds and keep things moving along. So in a way, I like the format of doing one pay-per-view a month. It's just a different era. Back in the 80s, when you only had 3 or 4 pay-per-views a month, television moved at a much slower pace. A lot of the big stars you only saw once in a while. TV shows were based around squash matches, and every now and then you got a marquee match on free television, and then you had your Saturday night's main events every now and then, but things definitely moved along slower. Now, it's a different era. With weekly live television, things move at a faster pace, and because of that, I think you need to have the monthly pay-per-views. It's just the way the business has changed over the past 3 decades. This one comes from Chris. Based on reactions, do you think Fastlane 2017 is possibly the worst pay-per-view since December to Dismember? No, I would not go that far. I'm sure there have been worse pay-per-views over the past decade than Fastlane. Fastlane, in my opinion, was not a good show, but I would not say it was a terrible show. I would just say it was a relatively boring show, and I think that a lot of the big angles they did on the show could have been executed better. I think that Fastlane could go down as the worst pay-per-view of 2017. I think that Fastlane's going to be a serious contender, but I would not say that it was as bad as December to Dismember. I think people will more or less forget about Fastlane a year from now. I think people will remember the Goldberg win, but I think a lot of the pay-per-view people will just forget about. It will go down as a forgettable pay-per-view. This one comes from Calvin. Hey Aaron, Fastlane was a blank show. So here's my question. What is your favorite It Doesn't Matter moment of The Rock? Personally, I like Mick Foley's It Doesn't Matter on The Rock. It was, I think, July 2000. Maybe it was late June 2000, early July, when The Rock was out there with Mick Foley in a promo segment, and Mick Foley asked The Rock how it felt to be the WWE champion, and as The Rock started to answer, Mick Foley was, "It doesn't matter how you feel," and then he started high-fiving the fans and getting the fans to chant Foley. I thought that was such a great moment. That was just awesome how Mick Foley got one over on The Rock, And one of the true memorable Raw moments, in my opinion, Mick Foley getting one over on The Rock with the "It doesn't matter" catchphrase, The Rock being a victim of his own catchphrase. To me, that was the most memorable one, when it was The Rock that was the victim. This one comes from Oscar. David Arquette did not want to win the WCW title. How much credit does he deserve for dealing with Russo? I wouldn't say he deserves that much credit, because he was just going along with whatever. He was there to promote the Ready to Rumble movie, and he was getting paid for it. And yeah, he did donate what he was paid to, I believe it was something with Owen Hart, I think. I'm not sure exactly. Or maybe it was Brian Pillman. It was some sort of charity. He just donated his money. I think David Arquette was fine with going along with whatever they wanted to do. If they wanted to put the WCW title on him, then whatever. I think that was his attitude. He was just going to go along with whatever, because he was there to do a job and he did it. He's a professional. So I'm not sure I would say he had to deal with a lot of crap, whatever. I mean, it is what it is, as I like to say. This one comes from Mark. What were your thoughts on the WCW Triple Cage match? Out of all the WCW gimmick matches, that is my favorite. I guess this is on topic with David Arquette, since they did that Triple Cage match at Slamboree. I liked the concept. I think it was a cool idea to do the Triple Cage match in WCW. However, it was WCW, and they had such a ridiculous storyline, of course, with David Arquette, that nobody could take the Triple Cage match seriously. The Triple Cage match, of course, from the Ready to Rumble movie, and WCW brought it to real life to help promote the movie. I think that if people were able to take the storyline seriously, I think that cage match would have gone down as one of the great matches in WCW. As it was, I thought it was a pretty entertaining match with Jeff Jarrett and DDP working in the cage match. I liked the concept of it. It's just they did not have a good storyline to go along with it. I'd love to see WWE bring it back, but of course, wasn't a WWE creation, so we're probably never going to see it unless there's a significant change in management and somebody looks back and says, hey, that Triple Cage match was awesome, let's bring it back. I think it's highly unlikely. This one comes from Sean T. Flick. Do you think WWE ever tries a match concept again similar to the Punjabi Prison? Probably not. That match was more or less a flop, and they did, I think, 2 matches, maybe 3. The only moment I really remember is Batista jumping from one part of the structure to the other. That was a cool spot. It just didn't work. I do give WWE credit for trying something different, and I applaud the effort. I like when we see something outside the box, and it was something different. It just didn't get over with the fans. I think that one day we might see something somewhat similar, but I think the idea is to try and come up with something entirely new and innovative. I would think that if you're going to come up with a match that's similar to another match, I don't think coming up with something similar to a failed concept like Punjabi Prison is the way to go. You would want to come up with something based off of like the Elimination Chamber or Hell in a Cell and try to take that to the next level. That'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please share it with a friend on Facebook or Twitter. Grab a NoDQ.com t-shirt at ProWrestlingTees.com. Use the coupon code from Pro Wrestling Crate. If you're a Pro Wrestling Crate member, you get 10% off ProWrestlingTees.com orders. And stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding WrestleMania 33 and the latest regarding TNA as well. We have the spoilers up on the website for the next 6 weeks or so. Check that out. And with that being said, I will see you guys next time for more.